Okay, so we have our last performer for the open mic this evening. We have the wonderful Martin Wakefield.
Thank you for inviting me to read tonight. My subjects are death, disappointment, disgust. Mainly death. We're going to go back to the creation for my first piece. It's called Ye Shall Be As Gods. In the beginning was the sword, and the sword was God's. And she used it to make everything that is the case into all its objective magnificence. Into Alia, he created a beach, a man, a rusty bicycle wheel, a loss of memory. She was astonished at his own creation. Earth is truly the only alien planet, she said to himself. After his busy work, all that was left was a big lump of clay. She took a small amount of the dirt and fashioned a pocket and a sausage. What was left of the clay he cleaved in two. The pocket she gave to the half he called Evie, and the sausage she gave to the half he called Evan. We are stardust, said Evie. We are golden, said Evan. And we must get back to the garden, said Evie. And in the centre of the garden they found a lemon tree, which, God knew, bore fruit which were at once the sweetest thing in the universe and the sourest. And Evie sucked a lemon and said, "Oh, how sweet! I can taste the perfection of true knowledge." And Evan tasted one but spat out the juice. "So sour," he said, "I can taste the ineffable horror of impotence." God, aghast at his bickering creations, thought back to the glory days of separating the waters and the earth, creating night and day, and was nostalgic for the old certainties. Evie said, "You should be careful what you wish for, God." God said, "It's not a question of desire, but I'll certainly be more careful next time." A bearded animal with udders appeared from the bushes. I was an earlier attempt, it said. She was disappointed in me too. Evan said, "I call you a goat, and you don't disappoint me one bit," and took the sword from God's hand and cut the goat's throat, and its blood poured down like silver. Thank you. I should warn you that it doesn't get any more fun. This is a story that was originally written by Lydia, who most of you probably know, a great American short story writer and translator. I've adapted it somewhat. It's called The Father. The boy wrote a story. "But how much better it would be if you wrote a novel," said his father. The boy built a house from Lego. "But how much better if it were a real house," his father said. The boy made a small pillow for his father. "But a quilt would be more practical," said his father. The boy dug a small hole in the garden. "But how much better if you dug a large hole," said his father. The boy dug a large hole and went to sleep in it. "But how much better if you slept forever," said his father.
Jesus Christ. Let that one settle.
I did warn you.
Cutting knife.
This is called Basquiat Killed a Cat. Basquiat killed a white cat and cut off its tail, which he used to paint a thorned crown, called Near the Beginning, when the word was in place, when the world was at peace. Sid killed a black cat, which he ripped open from throat to anus and smeared its viscera on Nancy's bare legs, which he pissed on and then used his hair to wipe clean. Donny killed a tortoise-shell cat and had it stuffed with heavily manured soil containing kale and chard seeds and garlic cloves, which sprouted in May from its eyes and mouth and pussy and butt, and gave a wonderful crop. Duffield found a dead cat and pushed an electronic voice box down its throat to meow and purr, and used electrical stimulation to move its limbs, and you couldn't tell it was dead apart from the smell, or a robot cat, and he combed its golden fur until it glowed. Last August, I worked in the City of London for a long time. Last August, I gave it all up to become a full-time poet. Fucking crazy. Anyway, so this is about my time in the city to a certain extent. It's, there's some rhymes in this one, actually. It's rather good. It's called Suit Boy Pure Life. This bitty-coin city with its mirrored towers, this pretty groin city with its piss-sodden hours, looking down on the invisible men dressed in all they own, looking up at the invisible men counting all they own, suit boys living the pure life, making long life, suit boys drinking the long life, selling pure life, suit boys blocking the short life, running true life, suit boys crocking the low life, making high life. That's suit boy. Shilling for the shysters who schlocked the whole shebang. I am an artist in residence for the presidents of shite, working for the wonks who wanked the stinking hole. I'm an artist of irrelevance for the malcontents of spite, stimming for the stonks who shrewd the superflux. I'm an artist of indifference in a wilderness of smiles, punding for the prattlers who pranged this leprous prong. I'm an artist of coincidence for the poster boys of bile, banging for the bragsters who brunt the new belong. I'm an artist of diffidence in an old world newly won, gagging for the gurglers who gripped the greasy pole. I am a speculating poet in a speculative world. That's Suit Boy.
Yeah.
This is my last piece tonight. It's called Model Railway Enthusiast, and it's for my uncle who passed away a couple of years ago. Model Railway Enthusiast. First, he built green-tinged hills and lush valleys and chalk cliffs and a sandy seashore. He created fields, ploughed and grassed, and trees and hedges, shiny lakes and rivers. He added infrastructure, rails and tracks and sidings and points and signals and tunnels and red brick stations with picket-fenced gardens and steam trains with blue and green carriages. Then timber-framed houses and old-fashioned shops and glass-windowed offices and picturesque farm buildings. Then he made a guard waving a red flag and 3 businessmen with briefcases and stood them on the station platform along with 3 housewives in headscarves. He added an older gentleman with a blue suit and white shirt and long grey hair. He created some children playing with a dog. He added a little old lady with a walking frame, an old man with 2 walking sticks, a young couple holding hands, a woman pushing a pram, teenagers sitting cross-legged on the ground in a circle, an army veteran with 1 leg, a woman wearing rags pushing a shopping trolley filled with plastic bags, a street drinker with urine-stained trousers, an idiot with a broad grin, a bearded lady with exposed breasts, a strong man with no genitals, a clown with flappy shoes and trousers round his ankles, an acrobat with no emotions, a red-haired woman named Queenie smoking a cigarette, a bald man named O injecting heroin, a class of anorectic school children, a sex offender out on licence, an actor rehearsing, a depressive doctor, a lone cowboy, a footballer with borderline personality disorder, an expletus baker, an ataxophobic butcher, a tortoise without a shell, a horse called Ampersand, thousands of flies, hundreds of rats, a lamb with 7 legs, a horned screamer, a dead cat being pecked by a crow, a headless mannequin, a disappointed God, 2 bogus idols, 3 little ghosts, the ignorance of the unborn, an endless struggle, a very faint sobbing, a dimming, a trembling, reek, disinterest, superfluity, ambivalence, a memory of his mother. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, I think I've just found my new favourite thing. Thank you very much, Martin.
No, yeah.
Okay, so that's everything for the open mic this evening.